Hello, this is Danielle from Danielle Louise Health and Wellbeing. How are you? So I thought I would jump online to give you a little bit of advice over how to stay healthy, how to build your immune system, and what you can do to serve yourself at this time. Now, Friday in the UK generated quite a lot of anxiety because the majority of schools closed, and therefore the uncertainty of whether that was the end of one academic year or not, what would happen with exams. Emotions were really high yesterday, and there's been quite an emotional response ever since. So I thought I'd come online to try and soothe in any way that I can, and to give some advice. So a little bit of health history from me. As a child, I suffered tremendously with eczema and lots and lots of burst eardrums. And conventional medicine never really worked for me at all, actually. Exactly the same with the contraceptive pill, all antibiotics, pain relief, you name it. So I've always had to look for the alternative solution, which is why I have some knowledge of kinesiology, reflexology, because they're the two go-to treatments I've always had. It also led me to study nutrition, plant-based nutrition, alkaline nutrition, along with nutrition for longevity. On top of that, it's really where my theta healing comes in as well, because I understand that the physical body alone is not the creator of dis-ease and disorder. The thoughts and the emotions can be a huge factor in that. And that has really been what's pushed me to come online as frequently as I am, because we have to understand that if we are not looking after our bodies by not changing what we eat, how we drink, how we breathe, and if we're not changing our mindset, and we are constantly living in the stress and the fear of contracting the virus or spreading the virus, or even worse, losing loved ones or dying, if we're constantly in that state of fear, it brings our immune system down massively. But on an energetic level, it brings your vibration down. So if we were to look at the scale, and Abraham Hicks talks about this in the Law of Attraction, fear is one of the lowest vibrations that you can sense, and fear can control us massively. So if you think about all the things that you really desire, but you've not done because you've been too scared to do, maybe you want to get out of the career that you're in, but it's financially stable, so it's safer, so it's more sensible to stay, because the fear of not knowing where the next pound is going to come from is too much for you. And do you see how the whole toilet roll situation spread massively like wildfire? Just from a couple of photographs online of empty shelves, that actually triggered a response in everybody else to go out and panic buy toilet roll. Whereas if that had never happened, the toilet roll movement wouldn't necessarily have ever occurred. But if we take that analogy and see how the virus and spreading the virus is exactly the same, because on a psychological level, you are now looking for the signs, you are now looking for the symptoms. And as much as that is good, in if you are vulnerable health-wise, you need to be aware. If we are doing it to a state of being paranoid, or doing it in an energy and vibration of fear, that's where we can really get lost in it, and that's where we can really start to become weak with our energy, and therefore weak with our immune system as well. So there's different things that you can do in order to help yourself. So obviously boosting your immune system, and everyone should have an email somewhere, in their email list of people who are telling you to boost your immune system. That's because boosting your immune system will protect you to a certain degree of contracting the virus, and then being able to fight it should you contract it. So what sort of things can you be doing? Obviously, we know that fruit and vegetable is good for us, right? This isn't anything new, but if all you're going to do is live off tinned goods and pasta, you're not going to boost your immune system. So you need to get out there and have the fresh fruit and vegetables inside of you. That then needs to be supported on a cellular level and in the digestive system. So in theta healing, we believe that the digestive system can hold an awful lot of trauma, hence why our stomach can go in knots when we feel anxious or when we think back to a traumatic time. So if it can store if trauma can be stored in the gut, as well as having additional intolerances that we may not even be aware of from the foods that we eat, we start to see how actually our immune system can be broken down by the daily choices that we make, whether it's with food or thoughts or emotions. So look after your gut. How? Well, you can take a probiotic supplement. You can take a digestive enzyme. So the probiotic supplement will give you good bacteria in the gut, which will hopefully override any bad bacteria that is in there and bring balance and homeostasis back within the gut. You can also take a digestive enzyme that will help break down the food. So sometimes if we lack digestive enzymes, it means certain foods like certain proteins or certain fats won't be broken down sufficiently and therefore can't be utilized within the body, and therefore can't rejuvenate on a cellular level. So taking a digestive enzyme is something that you can do, because that will really help break down and allow the body to absorb. On top of that, we've got omega-3, which again helps the cells be more permeable so that it can actually absorb the nutrients that you are eating. And that's just food. And then obviously, that smoothies are often nutrient dense. Your juices are nutrient dense. On top of that, we know that green vegetables are the way forward. And if you needed a reason to change your diet, this is it. This is it. It doesn't get any more than this, right? So make those changes. We all know what's good for us and what's not. Sugar is not going to help your immune system at all. Glutinous foods aren't necessarily going to help your digestive system and therefore your immune system either. So be wise, think about it. Drinking alcohol is not either. Really think about it. If you want to look after yourself and not contract this virus, then it needs to be on all levels. Also avoid mucus forming foods. So obviously we know that the flu type symptoms are chesty, as well as being around the sinus area. All of that could be linked to the mucus. So if you know that certain foods trigger extra mucus in your system, then avoid those foods now. And some of them are foods that we may consider as being healthy. So bananas, for example, can really generate mucus in some people. So can soy milk. So really think about it and cut all of that out, because we need to be making sure that you don't have anything like mucus in the system or overriding the system, because that's when we can be susceptible to contracting certain things, especially flu type symptoms and heavy severe colds. Another way you can do that is by juicing 1 apple, half a lemon, and as much ginger as you can handle. Once you've juiced all of that, all of those together, you can put it into a cup and then fill it up with hot water and then sip on that, and that will help you break it down, as well as boost your immune system, as well as generate heat within the body, which will also help to cleanse. We've got the deep breathing helps to detoxify the body. Believe it or not, it gets things moving, and that's what we need to do. We need to move so that we can get things out of the system. We need to detoxify gently so that we can get things out of the system, or so that they don't even collect within the system. So think about those things as well. Move to music. Music, I'm always saying this, but music is the easiest way to change your mood and raise your vibration. So if that means that you are locking yourself into the bathroom and dancing to, 80s music, go do it. If that's going to raise your vibration and it's going to make you feel good and it's going to move your body, then go do it, because that will really support and help benefit your immune system. So I hope you found these tips helpful. It's really important that you understand how many different levels of health there are and what you can do for it. So obviously there are so many different alternative therapies that you can do to identify what food you're intolerant to, if there's anything that's generating an illness within the body. And in theta healing, we can often identify what the emotion or the thought is that might be generating the illness as well. So really think about those things, and that will also take, the pressure off any healthcare systems as well, because you'll be able to help yourself a little bit more. If you have any further questions, don't hesitate to contact me via email, Danielle@lifebydaniellelouise.com, and I wish you all the health.